What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock, what's going on with SPY, the QQQ, and Nvda, and many other tickers out there. I'm going to break down what's going on with the debt ceiling and what's happening in the pre-market to all of these different stocks, and some news about Elon Musk and Tesla that's very important. Before I break down about all of this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention that I'm not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And finally, don't forget about the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks. Each could be worth up to $2,000 and a free Tesla share. The offer ends very soon. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Now, as far as the market goes, I mean, SPY is very flat right now. It's up 0.02% in the pre-market. The QQQ is kind of red, and there's not really much going on despite the news about the debt ceiling, right? With the House passing it, which was great news for everyday Americans, which is technically good news for the markets for now. And the market has been having this very optimistic look at this. And the market tried to pump a little bit off this news. But for now, the bill is going to be passing to the Senate very soon. And now the Senate is going to be debating and voting on it very, very soon over the next couple of days. We have to wait and see what the Senate does, and we'll see how the market responds to the House signing the bill so far and passing it. For now, it's not reacting much, right? We're not seeing too much going on, and it looks like the data that's coming out over the next 15 to 30 minutes is going to have just as big of a role in dictating how the market moves too. So we're just going to have to watch the levels for now since the market is very flat and not doing much. But you also have to remember we have lots of data coming out, okay? At 9:45 a.m., 15 minutes after the market opens Eastern time, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out. And then we have the ISM Manufacturing PMI coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, uh, alongside other manufacturing data points that are coming out and very important. This is super important for the markets and the Fed's policies. Initial jobless claims came out this morning too, and this has had a very mixed reaction from the markets despite it being very close to expectations. For now, the market is just looking a little bit weaker, but I'm still open-minded to see how we're going to open because like I said before, there's not really much of a reaction right now. The market's extremely flat, so it's very difficult to call exactly what's about to happen, especially after the debt ceiling. However, from a technical standpoint, SPY is looking like it's about to get a bearish cross on the 30-minute time frame. And typically when this happens, we tend to see some negative reactions from the markets, right? You can see like right here, we either trade a little bit flat or we start to drop. Right here, the same thing happened. Right here, we saw more downside, and we're about to get this crossover on the PPO. But here's the thing about this. Even if the market does get a weak open, it's going to depend heavily on the PMI reports, and that's why the first 30 minutes tend to be very volatile, and I'd be very patient approaching them in the beginning. We have to see what reaction comes after the first 30 minutes, depending on the manufacturing data. Let me also add that when it comes to Tesla, this thing pumped at the very end of the day. And Elon Musk did not unveil any new model, despite the fact that Tesla pumped it because of the news about this. The market was anticipating that Elon Musk would announce and unveil some new Model 3. It didn't actually happen. And as a result, Musk is going back to Texas now. And unfortunately, there wasn't anything too massive that happened in China. He didn't close any huge deals there as of right now. And, for now, Tesla is a little bit red right now, so be very careful of it. Now let's talk about the charts very briefly. On the 30-minute time frame for SPY, we're about to get this bearish cross on the PPO, which means we may get a very sideways, if not a little bit of downside into open, but then we're going to react to the PMI reports. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what the PMI reports are about to tell us, so that's why I would be very patient waiting for it. Now, let me also add that for SPY, you're going to be watching some resistance around this 418.36 to 418.5 zone. The 418s are what we're going to be watching as resistance. If SPY could break 418.5 specifically, we have the potential to fly all the way up to the 419.3 area and then the 420 plus area. 419.31, 420, and then 421 are going to be major resistance points. If you want to turn super bullish, you got to break 421. For now, it doesn't look like it's doing that just yet. We have to wait and see if we get confirmation of that. If we're bearish, okay, you're going to be watching support right over here around this 417.3 area. If it breaks below that, there's 417, and if that fails, then 416.36, where the 200 EMA is on the hourly time frame, will likely be tested. So watch all of these different levels. The odds are favoring the market cooling off just a little bit into open, but then it's going to react to the manufacturing data after that. As for Tesla, we have a bearish cross on the PPO. If we're bullish on Tesla, it needs to break above 202. Break and hold 202. It is currently below it just a little bit. We need to break and hold this 202. Break above that, then we could see a 204 retest. Break that, then there's going to be 205. 204 to 205 is where we have resistance. If it breaks this resistance zone, then it's going to fly even higher to 207, 209, and then 210. Very close to where we have these resistance zones. Now, if Tesla's bearish, okay, you're going to be watching major support around 200 now, 200.67. That's where the next 50 EMA is going to be now, into like the 200s, very low 200s. That's where Tesla has support. If that fails on us, it's going to come all the way down to 190, what is this, 198.93, which is where we have this imbalance. And if that fails us, then it's going to come all the way down most likely to 197.5, then 195. Okay, so watch all of these zones I'm calling out very carefully. Now, how is Tesla looking so far? The answer is it's not looking that great. It's going to gap down just a little bit, so there is some potential for it to try to fill this gap in the morning and then make a move. But the problem is it is losing some momentum and it's getting this bearish cross right here. Tesla's likely going to downtrend a bit, trade very sideways and choppy, approaching the big data for the PMI report, and then the market's going to react to the PMI, and Tesla will react to that as well. But for now, it's looking weaker than before. We got this big pump, and it's likely going to try to make its way back down here. And it looks to me like it's looking weaker for now into open. But then this all could change depending on the PMI report by the next hour, by the time 10 o'clock a.m. comes Eastern time. For the QQQ, if we're bullish, we need to see the QQQ break and hold 348.25 around that area, break and hold that, and this thing could fly all the way up to 349.38, followed by 350. If we're bearish on this thing, we're going to be watching the hourly time frame. We have the support right where the 50 EMA is, around 347. If that fails, it's going to make its way down closer to 346.5, then 345. Those are the major support areas. For now, it's looking very choppy, very, very choppy price action to open this up. We might just trade sideways into open. On the 30-minute time frame, it's looking a little bit weaker. There's still technically an open MACD, but it is looking very choppy. So there's not a whole lot going on with it. It's just very, very sideways for now. And we're just going to have to watch and see how it reacts to this major level. It isn't doing anything. It's at 0.00%. The pre-market is just completely flat as of right now. It's just going to react to the data. It looks very reactive. Despite the fact that the bill was signed by the House, I mean, we could get an initial reaction, but then I would just wait for the PMI report. Even if the market pumps a little bit into open, just out of nowhere, be careful because PMI is coming out. That's going to be much bigger for the first 30 minutes of the trading day, okay? For NEO, we're still waiting for a reaction. It's a little bit green in... it was green yesterday, but it's kind of red in the pre-market. I haven't looked at the deliveries numbers just yet, but it is a little bit red right now. Watch support at 7.25. If that fails, it's just $7 flat, then 6.5. And for bullish, it's going to try to make its way up to $8. For the VIX, not really doing anything for now. Might get this. If it breaks above the 50, this could become bearish for the markets. This could be the market turning bearish if it does do that. The market could cause that to happen. If the market starts pumping, it would get a rejection off here. So we're still waiting for it. It's at resistance right now. The dollar is a little bit red. Apple's a little bit green. It might gap up. If Apple gaps up, be careful. There's going to be a gap below. We could see Apple drop a bit with the market, just a tiny bit. But it's looking very flat for now. It's on the verge of getting a potential cross, but you could see our MACD is just very flat, very, very choppy price action. Nvidia, I was talking about a bounce on Nvidia yesterday. It could come down a little lower to like 375 and then bounce, or it could just try to bounce from here. It's at this major critical level at 375. It needs to hold that to get a nice bounce. For now, it's holding above it. It hit 377 in the pre-market or the after hours yesterday. And it looks like it's going to try to make its way up. If it holds these levels, it could retest this resistance right here around this 384 zone. Break that. There's 386, 390. 395 then 400. If it's bearish, well, you have to watch 375. It needs to hold 375. If it breaks below that, not going to look good. I'm leaning more towards Nvidia trying to bounce, though. It is up about 1.4% in the pre-market. It is gapping up, so be careful with the gap forming below. But then, anyways, it needs to just hold 375. We have strong support there. As long as it holds that, it has potential to bounce. If it breaks below that, it's going to be a bad sign. All right. For what else is there? Amazon. We're just going to wait and see what Amazon does. Very, very choppy as well. Our MACD is a little bit wide open. It's a little bit open right now, so there's some momentum for it that's positive as long as it holds above the 50 EMA. That's around the 120.66 support. It is a little bit green in the pre-market, a little bit stronger than the market, so Amazon has some strength right now. It may just continue to chop a bit. It's going to react to the PMI, but it is looking pretty decent. It's holding above the 50, so as long as it holds this, we could see it try to get closer to like 121, and we're just going to have to see how it reacts. Last but not least, what else is there? Let's talk about Meta just very briefly. Meta is looking pretty flat to me. It still has an open MACD. It's trying to trend up, and it's going to be watching the 30-minute 50 EMA as support. That's around this 263.9 level. That's where it's trying to hold right now. It is currently around 266, so watch this carefully. If it breaks to the upside, the major resistance is going to be around 269. Support is going to be around 263.9. Watch each of those levels very carefully. And for now, it's trending up, so it's looking pretty decent. But don't forget what I told you yesterday. There are some massive put sweeps on Meta. Someone's betting Meta's going to have a hard time very soon. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. For now, just get ready. The market is going to have a reaction, maybe into open, depending on how it reacts to the House with passing the bill. But for now, let me just mention that I'm just going to remain patient. I'm not going to just hop into any options, maybe just scalp in the morning. That's about it. I'm just going to wait for the PMI report 15 minutes and 30 minutes after open. So wait, be patient, do what you have to do, and I'll see you guys very soon. Enjoy this pre-market update, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for the intraday update if I could do that. All right, thank you. Have a great day. Get ready, guys. Watch the levels, and peace out.